So I'm like, okay, let me try this thing. And then it was supposed to be once, supposed to run Comrades
really?
once. Yes. And then fast forward, I've got 8 Comrades, and it's been the most incredible journey and teaching people how to eat for their bodies to be able to heal themselves. So when I took up that career, for me, it was second nature. Enjoyed it, and I still enjoy it. There's people, especially women who post 40, their running is different because of hormones.
Yeah.
And now we have to look at different ways of tackling how they're eating, and because the woman's body and the men's body is totally different.
Yeah.
We have to deal with multiple hormones when a man has to deal with one, which is testosterone. I've experienced 3 different boards in 1 year. So we cannot empower women as a woman. I can't empower women. I need men to help, because when we are running, we need those men to be running with us, protecting us while we're training, because that is something that you probably find women tend to hold back, because you're thinking in the early mornings when you have to put in the mileage, you can't run by yourself, you don't belong to a group. I always am humbled and also proud to see runners as yourself taking the initiative to actually grow the sport and bring information to the community, engaging. I appreciate the engaging that you've been doing, and it's important. And our sport, like you said, we can never stop talking about running at all.
Welcome to this episode of the Runners Podcast with myself, Rotogolo. And today we have a Comrades or a CMA board member, Sis Nontuthuko Mashimane, who will introduce herself and tell us about herself, her running, and Comrades Marathon Association. We say to you at home, like, subscribe, comment, and if you want her back on the show again, you must also tell us. And without further waste of time, gentlemen of the jury, welcome, Sis Nontuthuko.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here again with you to have these conversations.
You know what's interesting about today is that I think we had 2 sessions in KZN, in Pietermaritzburg to be precise.
Yeah.
And today we are in Joburg.
Joburg, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, my name is Nontuthuko Mashimane. I'm from Pietermaritzburg. I've got 8 comrades thus far. I started running in 2015, and I never knew that if anyone told me that this year or I'll be here in 2025, I wouldn't believe them, because for me, when I started running Comrades, it was literally one of those things that you do because you just seeing your older brother running. Sibs, my older brother, is running his 15th Comrade, so he's always been that inspiration at home. So I'm like, okay, let me try this thing. And then it was supposed to be once, supposed to run Comrades
really?
once. Yes. And then fast forward, I've got 8 Comrades, and it's been the most incredible journey ever in my life. I've met such wonderful people. I've been able to serve the CMA from volunteer level. From 2015, I ran for charity. I've seen a lot. I've met such wonderful people, and I'm meeting you. So,
Oh, am I wonderful?
of course. So that is why I'm like, running is just something else. It'll take you from another place in your life and take you to another place in your life. I mean, it's incredible. For me, it's the journey that the running space puts you in.
Yeah. And then let's just try and we've got a big cake in front of us, but let's try and cut the piece of each cake. There are these cakes today whereby you find this layer is red, the another one is. So let's try and have the best of every piece of part of this cake.
Yeah.
So let's talk about your journey, your running journey. Why did you decide to start running?
Okay, I started running, to be honest with you, I started running 2014 where I started doing my regular 10Ks and 21s. I've always been a fit fanatic person, going to gym, but not a runner. And I took on running because I think I'd come back from living in London. And when I came back, I just wanted to engage in something. And my brother was busy running at this running group. So I decided to join them. And then I started running, and I remember 2014 August the 31st. It was the Mandela Marathon.
Oh, you ran Mandela.
Yes, but I ran the 21K.
Oh, that one that starts
In Howick.
In Howick,
No,
yeah.
in Hilton. Sorry, it starts in Hilton
yeah.
because the 10 starts in Howick.
Yeah.
So I did that one, and at that time, the Comrades Marathon entries opened on the 1st of September.
Yeah, I remember.
So that year, 2014, Sunday was the Mandela Marathon, and then Monday was opening. So while I was running, something just said to me, "You must go and enter Comrades tomorrow." And I did that. I didn't tell anybody. Before I went to work, drove to Comrades' house, and I was the first person to enter Comrades Marathon for 2015.
Wow.
Mind you, I had never ran a marathon in my life.
You only did 21.
Yes, only 21s. So I was like, hey, I'll cross that bridge when you get there. Why did I start running? I think it was my brother who influenced me, because I remember when he finished his Comrades marathon in 2014, and I looked at his face, and there was something about that expression on his eyes, that he just did something so brilliant and something that no one can ever take away from him. And I was jealous because I wanted also that feeling of that he can't even explain, but I could see it in his face. So I think I decided on that, like, I also want to experience that. I want to feel like that. I want to feel this whole Comrades thing, because I have been watching Comrades throughout my life since I was young, because of my mom, who's also a sports person and ran at school. So she introduced us to Comrades, watch it at home, and then she took us on the route where we were growing up, until my brother started running it. And then I just started. I don't have a specific reason besides just wanting to be part of this feeling that everyone is talking about, especially from my own brother.
Yeah, what I've learned about it is this journey is that this bug has got its way of biting us, and it bites us differently. Yeah. So, and then how was your build up to your first Comrades? Because I just interviewed someone, and then he said your first Comrades will always be your best Comrades, even if you run a terrible time, but that will be your best, because you don't know what to expect. You just hear people talking about a lot of things, and you just go there to experience it yourself, and that's when you can tell a story.
I think I was lucky to be in a group of people who are experienced Comrades runners, who were able to rope me in and help me to do what I need to do, to do the training I needed to do. But to be honest with you, it started badly for me, because I signed up for Comrades in September, and then I think within the same month or nearly October, I got injured, and I got my first injury, which was the groin, and it was so bad that I didn't think I'll ever even walk again, because it's so bad. The groin injury.
I know, groin.
It's the worst thing ever, and I just thought, oh my God, I just signed up to run my first Comrades, and then next thing this happens. So, but to fast forward, I listened to my physio to say stop running and do your exercises. And December I started running, and I ran 9 minutes per K. I started still limping a bit. Yes,
Yeah,
I couldn't believe it. Like, what? Coming from somebody who was, running your 6:30 at that time, building up. But then in December for me, that was the actual beginning of training. But fast forward, my first marathon ever was the Hillcrest Marathon in February in Hillcrest in KZN.
I know Hillcrest. I ran for Hect.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Wonderful.
I signed up for Hect.
Oh, so yeah. That's nice. So I ran that marathon, and my time was, I think, 4:09.
Wow.
So,
F-seeding from the onset, yeah.
I was actually amazed, and I remember running, and it was a 2-lapper. I was just scared, like, oh my gosh, when is it? when is it when I'm going to cramp? When is it that I'm going to not be able to breathe? Because I've never run this long ever in my life. But yeah, and then after that, I ran Buff's marathon. I got my sub 4. So I got my sub 4 after that marathon, and within the same month. And yeah, I ran 2 oceans, and then I ran my first Comrades. And I was selected by Old Mutual, because Old Mutual was one of the sponsors of Comrades at that time. So I was selected to be an inspirational runner for that year. So what that means is that East Coast Radio was following me on the day.
I saw some of the clips here on the media.
On the day. So I had people following me and asking me, how am I doing? And it was an up run. And I remember running and feeling scared because, you anticipating something's going to happen. Maybe you're not going to be able to carry on. And to be honest with you, when I got into the stadium, and that time it was the Oval, the cricket stadium, I just couldn't believe seeing the finish banner. I just couldn't believe. And I remember being overwhelmed with tears, and my heart was just filled. Every time I think about it, I want to cry because it's just an amazing experience for me. It was if I think about it, it's as if it happened yesterday. So when I crossed the finish line, I just couldn't believe it. And I knew at that time I could do anything in my life. I mean, if I could conquer Comrades, I mean, what else can stop me? So for me, it was the most, yes, it's true. The first Comrades is the best Comrades ever because you don't know anything. You're just running, and you only realize that, oh, that was Phil's Hill. I'm like, oh, okay. Wasn't that bad? And then, oh, that was Cowie's. Oh, okay. And Bothers. And then by the time you realize you are Ashburton, and Ashburton is literally
where you stay. That's home.
And I'm like, I'm home. And I remember running through, getting to Maritzburg, and I saw people that I knew, and I couldn't, even that being tired was gone. The aches and pains that were there, they were gone. I was like floating because of the people. They were just,
they were
carrying me up until I passed my old high school, Pietermaritzburg Girls High, and then off we went into the Oval, and it was just amazing.
Funny enough, I thought you could have driven the Comrades route since you're from that side of town. So
you would have. I think I would have driven it once, but it's not the same. You can drive it, but then if you've never ran it before, the running experience of the route is totally different. When you are running, and you're running at the back of Inchanga and all that, it's different on race day. You don't even see that you're in Inchanga because of the marketing material that's all over the people and the energy. You just running through and you're following the person in front of you. You don't even realize where you are up until, even my watch, I didn't have a smartwatch. Oh. My brother gave me I remember it was a watch from, I think, Mr. Price Sport. It was, he taught me how to literally look at the board of the kilometers and look at your watch. So I ran with like a stopwatch.
So that's he taught you. He taught you the rudimentary way of doing it. Yeah.
Yes. So I got the foundation of running from my brother and other people that I ran with because they were oldies. So they always taught you that what if you didn't have a watch? You should know, your body should feel that you've ran 10 Ks. And you should know the pace by how you're running, how you're feeling, how you're breathing. So all those basics, I got them. Because my first 2 Comrades, I didn't have a smartwatch.
Oh, really?
No.
So, you were not having this fancy food.
No, it was all basics, eating real food, amadumbe, patata, electrolytes or making your own glucose.
Yeah, I
all
remember.
Those basics. I remember that those were the teachings.
And 8 Comrades later, you are on the verge of your green number. Wow, congratulations, madam. I started mine, the first one was 2010, but because of injuries and everything, I think the second one was 2014, which I bailed out at 71 kilometers because my knee was swollen.
Did you start the race with an injury?
No, I just had knee problems and so I was cramping and I had knee problems and I didn't lose strength back then. So yeah, I couldn't finish, but I know that comrade. I can remember that one vividly. Yeah, but then are you aiming for your green number? That's not an obvious question.
Obviously, I remember, like I told you, I said I'm only doing it once just to take it off. Then everyone said, no, you need to do your back-to-back. So I went back for back-to-back. And then after that, I'm thinking, what am I going to do with my life? Because I'm around runners, and if I turn with them, it was the question of, why don't you run Comrades instead of run Comrades? Like, why stop? So I carried on. It was part and parcel of my life, literally.
And you mentioned that you were part of Comrades as a volunteer. Yeah. Tell us about that part of your life.
Okay, when I was in high school, I go to a high school down the road from Comrades House. And they involved schools around the students to be volunteers. And I remember I started volunteering when I was in high school. And then after that, I volunteered with my brother where he was working at that time. It was Reebok who was the sponsor. So there was a Reebok shop. So I remember that I was a volunteer there working at the shop, helping the runners with the apparel and buying at the store, which was at Comrades House. And then when I started running Comrades 2015, late 2014, 2015, I registered as a volunteer at Comrades, and I was involved in one of the committees, which was CSI and charities. So I started volunteering then. So I'm also going to get my green name soon for volunteering at Comrades.
Man, you deserve a high five.
Thank you.
Okay, and then and you still involved. You still heading the charities even to date.
Yes. Well, I've been led by wonderful chairmen or chairpersons throughout the 10 years that I've been part of the committee. And this year or this term, I was selected to be the chairperson of the CSI and charities.
Wow, nice. And then let's move on to the other one, which is something that, are you passionate? I don't know if we should say it's part of your career or something that you're passionate about. Nutrition. Let's talk about nutrition.
Nutrition also, I would say it's something that I grew up around because I have a mother who was always watching what she eats, and she was always reading the labels of the juices that she'll buy for us for school, and making sure we had fruits. And she was a very healthy person, health conscious person. So I've always had that from home, that you need to, be mindful what you're eating and eat for health reasons. She always taught us that. But when it comes to choosing a career, I think for me, I think that grew in me to be passionate about, healing people with nutrition and teaching people how to eat for their bodies to be able to heal themselves. So when I took up that career, for me, it was second nature. Enjoyed it, and I still enjoy it. I think it's my passion and one of my purposes on this earth to the journey of nutrition. So I'm a nutritionist and ethnomedicine practitioner. I also specialize in Irildiology, which is being able to look into the eye, the iris, and be able to see what is wrong with your body or internally, what is wrong, because it's so important to heal the cause of the problem, not the symptoms. So Irildiology helps us with looking at the causes of issues or the symptoms that you are feeling.
So I should start wearing my shades when I'm around.
Everyone says that. Funny enough, the two things that tell me about that person's health is your eyes and your skin. So when I look into your eyes, literally it tells me a lot already without even taking the camera to look in. I'm able to see that what's going on, and even your skin, because your skin is your largest organ, and your skin is able to tell us what is going on inside your body.
And just some of the highlights, or if you can just touch some of the things that are associated with with nutrition that you help people with, or some of your success stories in helping people?
Well, I know when it comes to running, also I'm very involved with runners' nutrition. So you've had people not being able to finish Comrades, and then they're doing the training program, but we don't know what's wrong, and then we'll zoom into what they're eating. So when we look into that and they start taking what their body needs, they start taking the nutrition that their body needs, the minerals, the vitamins. You start eating for fueling the body for you to go the distance, eating enough things to help you with your cramping. Those are the major successful stories where somebody has always had DNFs, and then we start working with them. They get a finish. There's people, especially women who post 40, their running is different because of hormones. And now we have to look at different ways of tackling how they're eating, and because the woman's body and the men's body is totally different.
Yeah.
We have to deal with multiple hormones when a man has to deal with one, which is testosterone. Yeah. So when a woman hits an age of 40 and above, so much happens. Their body changes. There's so much resistance when it comes to weight loss. They start accumulating fat deposits. Even if they can run as much as they want or they can exercise, there is that part that has to do with nutrition and hormonal imbalances. So for me, also my success stories when it comes to ladies in the running fraternity is getting them to actually feel good in their bodies while training for Comrades and finishing Comrades and feeling young and looking young because of the hormonal aspects. So for me, in the running community, I've had a lot of stories of ladies I know I have a lady who's above 50, but she ran her best Comrades last year because of changing how she's eating and looking into eating for her body to actually execute a very good run, especially a Comrades run.
Just to fast forward, let's go to CMA. You are serving your second term at CMA, and there has been a lot of changes at CMA whilst you're there. And I think in your first year, there were resignations, and then there was an interim board, and now there's a new board. Can you just take us through the experience thereof?
Okay, so when I was elected to be part of the board, there was an existing board already, and then when we hit post race day 2024, a lot of changes happened. A lot happened within CMA, it affected CMA and its members and the whole community, the running community, and then there were resignations, and therefore there had to be an interim board because we didn't have a chairman and the vice and a few board members. So we had that interim board, which I had to be part of. And then end of the year, we experienced the SGM, as you know, and then the AGM, and then the new board was selected, which was the majority of the existing board present. So I've experienced 3 different boards in 1 year, because one term is 2 years. Yeah. So in 1 year, I've experienced all that. And for me, I know that a lot of people who went through or saw what happened at CMA, for me, it was that time of a new era for the association. And unfortunately, I come from a school where, for a new, like Ujani, if you want a new grass, you need to burn it for it to have fresh grass. Yeah. For you to build, sometimes you need to demolish everything. Sometimes you prune, sometimes you demolish, and then you start building again. Yeah. So luckily I come from that school and also support where chips are down and things are tough. That's when you have to exercise your leadership skills, because being a leader, it's not about being present because everything is nice and everything is going well. Leadership or being a leader is when you're solving problems. And I came during the time where problems needed to be solved. And being a person who was nominated by the members, I stayed because the membership put me there for a reason, and I had to, pull my socks up and stand strong, and believe that we will go through the storm, but we'll come out the other side stronger as an association. And looking at where we are today, it took resilience. It took a lot to actually stand, especially with you being the new person, and also
new
being
kid on the block.
yes,
You're
and,
still
and,
getting
and being
accustomed to
young, being a woman, being a woman of color. It's still very testing. So one though had to actually gather strength and find a reason why you're here, and then stick to that. And to me, it's been a very testing time, but well worth it. I wouldn't say I wished it didn't happen. It was unpleasant, uncomfortable, but it was a lesson. And I was glad to be part of that change and that transition for the association, because it went down in history books, something that's never happened before. I was part of it. So I'm just embracing that as it is, as how it happened, and I'm here today.
I know we can talk about a lot of things that we've learned at CMA, and some of which you still wish to learn from serving under the CMA board. But let's talk about the women the women field at Comrades, because when you look at the Souvenir magazine or the stats in general, you see that about 17,000 of the field will be men and about 4,000 to 5,000 will be women. I don't know. What can you say about, or can you, what have you learned about it? And is it something that is going to change, or can we see a 50-50 one day?
Firstly, you need to go deep into why such a small number of women in the field, not just Comrades, in the sport.
Yeah.
Now remember that between you and I, if we have children and we're both runners and someone has to mind the home, between the two of us, I'll stay behind and you can go and run. You are free to do what you want, opposed to me where I have to choose between the running and looking after the home. And I think that's one aspect, that women are homemakers.
Yeah.
So, and they choose always to be that first before being involved in anything else. Number two, I think at the end of the day, we need to look at, which is, I feel it's going to be a challenge I'm going to put out there, that all of us in our running groups, in our clubs, let's look at how many women are we taking to Comrades and how many women are still at 10 or 21 kilometers. And let's look at taking those women to Comrades, because at the end of the day, we are the ones in the field and we are the ones around those women who are not running Comrades. Those are the ones already in the running fraternity. Never mind the ones who hasn't even entered running at all. So for me, the number is still very less. I do feel that we can increase it. I'm not sure about the 50-50, but I do one day, because if you look at the stats, growth in Comrades it doesn't grow like very fast. I mean, I remember at one of the meetings that we had, from the 1921 to 100 years down, 10 years down the line, the growth was literally so small of the field. So we can't expect something huge overnight, but I do feel that we can work on it. I do feel that women are strong when it comes to long distance running. They are resilient. Naturally, their bodies are meant to run longer. God made their bodies to actually be able to cool themselves down. For when you look at men cramp more because of how they're made, the hormones and everything. So women are made to be long distance runners. We as existing runners, Comrades runners, we need to go back to our communities. And if everyone would take one lady through Comrades, mentor them, we'll have double number immediately. So it's not only CMA's job, it's the whole running fraternity where we need to be conscious that we don't have enough women running, and we need to ask ourselves why, on club level, on running group level. And then we come with a solution where we take those women through Comrades. Because sometimes I think as Comrades runners, we end up just focusing on ourselves and our runs, and as Comrades runners, we never look at how about going and pulling some people to be novices and experience Comrades. So that's what I've seen, and I would encourage clubs, running groups, men to actually help, because remember there's a safety aspect also. So we cannot empower women as a woman. I can't empower women. I need men to help, because when we are running, we need those men to be running with us, protecting us while we're training, because that is something that you probably find women tend to hold back, because you're thinking in the early mornings when you have to put in the mileage, you can't run by yourself, you don't belong to a group, you don't have males running, you don't have males actually investing time and the energy into running your pace, because that's another aspect. So we have to also be looking at compromising sometimes, so that we can build up these women to actually run Comrades.
I'm laughing as you speak, because last year I took it upon myself. Ever since I started running, I think my passion has always been taking runners to the finish. I started with guys, and I've seen them graduate from being a non-runner to finishing Comrades, and I've done that. And most of them, they even run faster than myself now. After you've trained them, now they start training speed and they leave me behind. And last year, I took 2 ladies, and I took my time. I remember I took one to the Irildiology 48, and I told her, I'm going to make sure that you qualify today. And I've given back in that regard. And I do agree with what you say, to say we need to be the ones that use that thing where we say you take a girl. They say take a girl child, so you take a lady to that. And I think I would encourage a lot of guys to do it.
And it's commendable what you've done. Thank you. And I would encourage, really, we've got, like you said, give back to the sport. For us, for the sport to grow, it's not about just the club. You're looking at the club, you're looking at the association, CMA, or you're looking at everybody but yourself. Because the question that I'm asking, I ask runners, what have you done to give back to the sport? Are you of service in your running group, in your club, in your community, with your running? So there's a lot of people who've probably ran more than 10 Comrades, and I think you're at a best time where you can give back to the sport and actually take that non-runner to be a runner, to be a Comrades finisher one day, because in this country we need to get as many citizens to at least have one Comrades, and we can't do it but us. There's no one else to do it but us, to be conscious about that.
And I heard you talking to someone or I think you were talking to the charities, mentioning that every one of us, when they come to this world, they come with their fist like this, holding a gift. Let's talk about the CMA, for example. You are serving on the CMA board, and you are on the CSI. Do you want to be remembered only as part of heading CSI, or you feel you still have a lot to offer to CMA if maybe you can get voted again in the next coming years?
I think naturally I'm a servant. I think I take that from the family I come from, where you need to love people, you need to have service to people, and I've been privileged to be given platforms where I can be just that. And I feel that there's still so much to do to see changes at CMA, especially as a young person. It's still very, very important for us to, especially for me, to actually be of service as a young woman at CMA.
Yeah.
So I still think there's still a lot that I can do and give, as much as I've given a lot on a volunteering level from 2014-15. But there's still so much, hey? There's still so much influence one has to have in order to be the game change, to see things changing for the better. I mean, we're in 2025 now in the running space. And there's so much happening. Running is actually one of the biggest growing sports in the world. And this, with that said, that means running can be impactful in communities, in individuals, in different spaces. And if we are so privileged to be in that sport where you can be changing so much. I mean, I'm seeing a lot of runners doing so much change within their communities with running. You know, we still have a lot of young people to develop, to actually be running, and actually so much talent that is out there. But it takes us to actually put our hands up to say we are willing to serve the community, we're willing to serve the sport, so that one day because remember that we need to leave something behind, and CMA or Comrades or running is there forever, and we need to leave a legacy behind that you were part of and be proud of one day. So I want to be remembered as somebody who was always willing to put their hand up to serve.
And today we are here at the Comrades Road Show. I know we haven't mentioned it, but why, like, it's for the first time, believe you me, I've been running for 23 years, but it's for the first time I'm attending a Comrades Road Show. And I don't know what to expect. I'm a novice in this today, but can you just tell us briefly what a Comrades Show does, and as part of from a CMA point of view?
A roadshow is literally unpacking comrades to runners, and especially novices, meaning you are trying to, I mean, we have a comrades coach, Lindsay Perry. We have everything that has to do with comrades, where we think it's information that runners should have. So that is why I always encourage runners to come to roadshows to get that information. And you'll find that when you've sat down and you've listened, you take something back to your training. And some runners actually come every year, and they found that there's something that they get every year.
You learn something new
So
every
you can
day,
never do it. You can never go once. It's always important to actually, number one, go there for the first time. The second time you go, take a runner there who's a novice. Sit down with them to actually listen to the coach and listen to all the aspects, and also have questions. It's so nice to sit there and actually have somebody that you can bounce questions to, and they give you answers, so that when you go back to prep, because remember, we're only starting now to prep for Comrades, you already are prepared mentally, because you sat down and you had somebody or people to actually talk about what is Comrades about and what to expect. Also, I mean, as a runner, some people don't even know that you can run for charity. So such road shows are able to unpack what is running for charity and how can you be part of that. I do really, really encourage the community, even people who haven't ran Comrades, be exposed, because some people, that is when they decide, when they're sitting at the road show, next year they're running Comrades.
But then I see the way that the road shows gets attended. I mean, I should expect to see a hall which is it's got about 2,000, 5,000 people coming to listen to the road show. But you can see the venues about 200 or 100, but you still you still cannot fill the venue like that. Do you think we as runners take this thing for granted, or is there something that CMA needs to do so that encourage the runners to attend these road shows? Because, I mean, it's only one road show here in city of Johannesburg. One will be in Pretoria. And the attendance to me, like, it's for the first time I'm attending. And you're talking about if next year I can bring someone with. Okay, anyway, I've got my I've got my crew guy here that I've taken, like, I'll take it as I've brought someone today. But yeah, is it communication from Comrades, or is it just us not appreciating this thing?
I think it's just, number one, it could be communication, between CMA and the runners, but the information is there. It's on the social media, it's on the website. But obviously, you can never stop trying to market the roadshows. But I think also the information needs to cascade down to the clubs.
Yeah.
I think there should be a way that we communicate with the clubs on chairman levels, and then they cascade the information down to their members, so that they actually encourage that attendance. It would be nice to see different clubs coming, representing and bringing their novices to such roadshows. But at the same time, also, I do feel that us as runners, or the community in running, we also are laid back. We also we take for granted.
Yeah.
And we think we know already. It's something that we already know. But you'll be surprised when you get there that you learn something new. But then also remember, there are webinars now.
Yes.
So some people take advantage of going online.
Yeah.
So there's different aspects, but I still feel that we can do better and more with the live one. And I do feel that we should take advantage of having a physical presence of comrades in your area, because remember, there's people overseas who only come when they come in to run.
Yeah.
They don't experience this whole journey of roadshows and boot camps and all that, and even having comrades coming to a qualifier, having comrades presence. So I think we should also acknowledge that we are very blessed and lucky to have comrades around us as South Africans in our different provinces, different races.
But yeah, I think as runners, I like saying this words, as runners, we will never, if we start talking about something, we will never stop, because I mean, for the love that we have and the passion for running is just on another level. But yeah, I should thank you for your time, taking your time out of the session that we're going to have. I know we haven't started yet, but taking your time and then saying, let me go and sit down and just unpack my story, my journey, and some of your insights in Comrades. And I should thank you for that and say, yeah, this is not the end of it. I think we're still going to do some more.
Oh, thank you so much. And, I always am humbled and also proud to see runners as yourself taking the initiative to actually grow the sport and bring information to the community, engaging. I appreciate the engaging that you've been doing, and it's important. And our sport, like you said, we can never stop talking about running at all. And for you to actually have different aspects of running, different people who've actually made running or comrades what it is so important for you to actually bring it and compile it and bring it to the people. So I thank you for that. Thank you for just taking the initiative. Again, you are giving back to the sports. Like I've been saying to people, that everyone has a talent, and with that talent, you can do something to make the sport great.
In closing, I know that the CMA, to be like the CMA, what do you call it? People who want to become CMA members. Yes. I know that process or that window is open. Are you at liberty to talk about it on this platform? Let's just tell us about the process and why should people sign up?
Right. So, being a member of CMA, it's so important because you are part of you're part of the association to making Comrades great. It's very difficult for you to have a voice, but you're not a member. And being a member does that because you are able to go to the AGMs. You are able to actually put down what you feel is of importance. You are able to actually, CMA or Comrades Association, you are able to take them to task because you're a member. So, it's very difficult and it's not... It's not actually making anything better by you pointing at things that are wrong, but you are not part of the solving of the problem. So when you're a member, you are in that circle of making sure that because of the love of Comrades, you are wanting it to be great, and you are adding value by airing your voice and what you think of the running of CMA. So every single runner, I think it's at your best interest to sign up to be a member. Now that at the moment we can have membership from everywhere, as long as you've ran Comrades before, you run Comrades, you can go on the website and you actually sign up to be a member and pay your subscription of 100 Rand per year. And then, you are able to be engaged by the CMA, and also you're able to come to the AGM, and you are part of the decision makers, and and also you're familiar with our constitution, which is what directs us to do what's right with the association. So being a member is very important. I would encourage people to actually sign up and be part of the solution when it comes to our to Comrades Marathon Association. Be part of the problem solving, not part of the problem.
You're running Comrades this year?
Maybe.
And what's your target?
I'm a happy runner, hey. I'm always running, smiling, and so always between 9 hours and 9:15, 9:30. I'm fine.
Nice one. Thank you for your time. Let me do my parting shots. And that brings us to an end of our conversation with Mom Nontuthuko Mashimane, and we thank her for her time and her insights. At home, we love what we do what we love. We will see you in the next episode. Tango, shap shap.